In the last couple of movies, we've seriously expanded our repertoire for working with PHP and databases, and we've seen not only how to create a form, pull down those values and submit them to a database, but also how to validate them and make sure that they're suitable for our purposes, and to sanitize them so that they're going to be suitable for submitting to MySQL. And we're going to continue to use those techniques every time that we're working with putting data into MySQL or receiving form data. But now that we've learned to create and read records, I want to look at the third part of CRUD, update. And I want to show you how we can update a subject. The effect that I'm looking for is I want to be able to click on one of these subjects, and instead of just getting About Widget Corp, I want to get a form that we can then edit and update. And I want that same form to submit to itself each time, so we'll always have the current values from the database in the form ready for us to edit. This is what I'm going to call single-page form submission. In the last example, we had two pages. We had a page that was the sender and another page that was the receiver, a processor that responded to the actions. We're going to put them all in the same page now, so you can see the difference and see how we would do it this way. Some developers like the process way of doing things, but I want to show you a couple of the advantages to doing it all on the same page. So let's get started. Because the page that we're going to be creating is a form, we can use new subject as a template because it already has a form. That'll save us some time. So I've opened new subject, and I'm going to do a save as, and we're going to call this edit subject. There we are. Now, a few things are going to be different about this. For example, we're not going to want it to say add subject. We're going to want it to say edit subject. And the action is not going to be create subject. We're going to send it back to the same page. So instead, it's going to be edit subject. And then we'll also need to grab the subject to work with it, to pre-populate our fields with it, and to know which subject we're talking about here. That's the difference between editing a record and a new record. We need to have that ID so that we'll know what subject we're working with. Luckily, we already pulled up the selected subject. We do that here with find selected page. Remember, it returns the selected subject to us as SEL_subject, and we go ahead and pass it to navigation here so navigation can use it. Well, we still have it available to us. So let's actually go ahead and put it right here. We can put in PHP echo SEL subject, and then we'll put in its menu name. Put our semicolon at the end and save it. So that'll now put our subject there once we have a selected subject. And of course, we'll also want to send the subject ID along with the page. So we'll need to do that here as well. And we can do that by passing subj equals, and then we'll need to put in a bit of PHP code because we need to do some encoding. And we will URL encode this value. And the value will be, I'm just going to copy this to make it a little faster, subject with ID. Now the ID is probably going to be safe again, but I'm just making sure. And let's put our semicolon at the end of that statement. And the very last thing we'll need to do, of course, is echo that back. We can't forget to echo it each time, or else it'll do the URL encoding, but it won't actually output it for us. So now let's link up our navigation so that our navigation no longer points to content.php, but points to our new file. Just to make that very clear, what we want to do is have products, when we click on it, not go to content.php, but go to our edit page instead. So we'll open up our functions where we defined our navigation. And here we are inside navigation. And here's where it puts the link for the subject with the subject ID. And instead, we're going to ask it to go to edit subject. We'll save it. We can close it. And now let's go back and test what we've just done in our browser to see if it's working. I'll reload this page and click on About. And what do you know? We get our new page with the form. So we're halfway there. Now the final step is for us to pre-populate those fields with the values that's returned. We already know how to do that because we made it display services here. So if you're comfortable with HTML, you should be able to have it pre-populate the subject name with services. And you should be able to pre-select the position that's currently selected, as well as whether or not it's visible. So why don't you try that on your own, and we'll take a look at the results in the next movie.